Where is he?
Where are you? Skull Rock. Do you know it?
Hello, this is Stacy over at the Skull Rock broadcast. I am joined by...
Hello, this is Megan. Welcome back to our Stranger Things podcast. And welcome back to our season 3 deep dive.
We in this.
We in it, exactly. I am so excited to talk about this episode today. But before we get into it, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. I don't know about you, but my brain chemistry has been completely altered after seeing Mr. Joe Keery cover the song Gasoline. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my gosh, I know. I mean, you know all of my thoughts because we're going to keep some of them to text messages. But
yeah,
that was so good. It just sounded amazing. He sounded great. His voice just keeps sounding better and better, and it makes me so excited for this new album. Just because I think we're gonna get some really good vocals, and I'm so excited for the new songs. But just the cover, it was so hot, man. It was just, the sound was hot, he was hot, everything about it.
When it's right, it's right.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really fun. That was Friday night, I think, that dropped.
Thursday night.
Oh, Thursday night.
Thursday
okay.
night. And he did Basic Being Basic, and I'm sure we'll talk more about it with our mini Joe episodes. But that was a phenomenal cover, and I just remember there being a photo once that dropped when Joe was visiting Italy last year, and he's hanging out with Joe Quinn, and I think the members of that band, Haim, I believe the name of it is, which I love that the reason why he covered it was they're all sisters, and he has sisters. They want to pay tribute, so it's kind of cool. It seems like they're friends. So I like that he covered that song. I had never heard it before. My friend Brandy played the original for me, and it was very, very pretty. But his vocal range is just complete chills. So I was just, I don't know. I'm speechless. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that was so good. Also, I this weekend started watching Severance because
How is that?
Everybody's talking about the new season, and of course, Joe Keery has been talking about it. He's made several references, and I'm pretty sure he was a huge fan of the first season a few years ago. He even went to the premiere or something like that.
Oh, wow.
But he said something. He made a comment on one of the interviews that he did in Australia about how the album cover, there were some Severance influences to that. And I was like, oh, so I guess I have to watch it. My friend has been trying to get me to watch it for years, and I'm
Same.
I don't want to tell her that I'm now finally watching it because of Joe Keery, but
yep.
It is really good, and it's just I have no idea what's going on, but I'm here for it. So
I'm gonna have to get into that now. You're selling me.
Yeah. So that has been fun, but I'm halfway through the first season, and then there's the new season also. So I'm sure that'll keep me occupied for a little while. So that's fun.
Love it.
And yeah, but I mean, it was super fun to watch the next episode of season 3. So that's what we're going to chat about today. And then we just have lots of more fun things coming up with the podcast and
Hell yeah.
in life. So
Yep.
yeah, do you want to get into it?
Let's do it. So I found myself, this is episode 2 of season 3, and this is called Mallrats, the Mallrats. And I honestly can say this is probably the episode I have rewatched the most. I don't, for no particular reason. I mean, it's a fire episode, but I somehow always find myself when I need background noise, I'll put on this episode. So I probably could have done all the notes without watching because
That's
I was
awesome. Yeah.
holy shit.
Well, also, I am pretty sure I'm still a little unsure about the timeline, and I think I cut out the whole conversation we had last week about my birthday and put it on Patreon, but I'm pretty sure that this episode happens on my birthday because in the one scene he's like, do you know what's in 4 days?
Yeah,
Independence
I thought
Day.
of you.
So my birthday is June 30th.
I went the day before. It was her birthday. Happy birthday, Megan.
Yeah, Yeah, so it's my birthday in this episode,
Yep.
so that's great. And I don't think I feel so dumb, but I don't think I've ever put together, like, I always thought of like mall rats, like the figurative, like people hanging out at the mall, but
I
like,
think of the movie.
well, I didn't put together that like there's a lot of rats in this episode too, like actual rats.
It features a mall, and it also features a lot of rats.
Yeah,
Holy
I
shit.
don't think I ever made that connection before, so
No, it's dawning on me just now. So we're
you're
fucking
welcome.
stupid.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, everyone. Connections.
So how does it open?
So we open with actually quite a pop out. It gets me every time, so I have to scramble to turn down the volume. But it's Billy like jumping out of the basement and racing to his car, and he speeds down the road and he tries to call 911. And I'm sorry, every time I see a phone booth, have you ever seen the movie Adventures in Babysitting?
Maybe, but I don't remember it if I have.
I like semi-recommend it. It's a fun 80s movie, but there's a scene where a girl's in Chicago stranded and she's calling her friend frantically needing a ride, and she's in a phone booth and there's an old man who's banging on the door going, "Get out of my house." So she looks down, she just sees like dirty slippers, so she opens the door real quick and kicks him out. She goes, "You just moved." So literally every time I see a phone booth, I go, "Get out of my house." So that's beside
There
the
you
point.
go. There you go.
Yeah. So Billy went into an old man's house. So he goes into the phone booth and he's gonna call 911, but then he kind of like stops and he starts thinking about what happened to him, and it shows flashes of this like fleshy, like almost like appendage over his mouth and stuff. It's very violent and stuff, and then the lights kind of flicker, and we see within a flash the impossible happen. Him actually being in the upside down. We know that because we see the particles floating, the lighting, the vines and stuff. So somehow he's now flashed into the upside down. So he walks out and he sees out of the shadows this group of people marching down the road towards him. And once they get close enough, he sees the person up front is actually him. And his reaction is probably how I would react. Just literally, I gasp and I just freeze. So then it cuts to the opening credits. So we don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting because it was almost like he got spit out of the basement the way he like jumps, like
Symbolism.
Yeah. But I have to point out that there was a lot of connections to like Vecna here in this scene, because
Did you hear the chime?
the chimes, there were
Yep.
chimes, and the lights in the phone booth were flickering. So yeah, that was very and I think there's a few other connections throughout this episode of like the whole Vecna. We don't know about Vecna yet, but like once we do know about Vecna, watching these scenes with Billy is like
They hit a little different.
yeah, exactly. After the credits, we cut to the cabin, which I feel like almost every single filming location in this episode I've like been to, which was kind of
Lucky.
fun.
I love that.
Yeah, and it was very like, summer. The trees are just like beautiful, and it looked very rustic and nice at the cabin. And it's funny because when I went to visit the cabin, I learned that the cabin that they built for season 2, they ended up tearing down. But then the people that owned the land where it was decided to rebuild a replica of the cabin
Smart.
as
Yeah.
like a like tourist thing for people to come see it. And they actually have an escape room there now. But then they were like, we're going to come back and film, and they actually use like the new replica
cool.
cabin. So the one that I had been to is the actual one that they
From
used
season
in
3?
season 3. Yeah.
That's sick. I like that.
Yeah.
That's really
Pretty-
cool.
But Ella's on the front porch, like pacing.
She's bullshit.
Yeah. She's like, what's going on? She's very impatient, and she calls Mike.
I
And
love that you can tell he was supposed to come at 9:30. It's 9:32. Where are you?
yeah, exactly.
Girl.
She's like, she knows that
Girl.
time, that clock. The clock is very important to Elle, which
Yes.
it's a little
Hmm.
interesting.
Okay. Yeah, okay. About that.
But you can see Hopper, they keep like just showing him like eating his cereal in the kitchen. But she calls Mike, and at the Wheeler house, Karen answers the phone. Looks like she's getting ready to go to the pool.
Yep.
And she tells Mike that Elle's on the phone, or that the phone is ringing, I guess. But she doesn't hang up upstairs, which
that is just that's all happened to all of us at least once as children. Like, I love that he's scrambling to lie, and already he's like hitting so many speed bumps when he's like, "Oh, Grandma's not doing well. Hop said it was a false alarm," and then he's like, "No, it took a turn for the worse. She might die." And right away you hear Karen, who's listening in, go, "What?" And just his reaction, "Mom, hang up the phone." And of course he has to say, like, when she goes, "Was that your mom?" He's like, "Oh yeah, she just, she's not in her right mind. She's really upset." Such a bad liar.
Yeah. And Elle's like, "Do you lie?"
Oh, when he says that right away, "No, friends don't lie," and just makes it this half-ass lie and says that he's going to see her tomorrow, he loves her, bye, and hangs up. And literally she's just like, I love that Hop was listening in. And he's got the biggest shit-eating grin. He's like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Nothing." And she uses her power to just slam the door.
Yeah.
Like, Hop.
And then he gets way too excited about it. Like,
I love that we have a callback to season 2 with the song "Don't Mess Around with Jim," which is funny because his name is Jim
right.
Hopper.
That's his song. Like,
that's his song.
Yeah.
And I love him. Literally, I always say that that's always me on the last day of school before summer. Like, those are those kind of vibes. Just, drumming against the steering wheel, sunglasses on, living his best life.
Yeah.
His plan has worked.
And he has to drive into town to tell Joyce about his plan working. And he's just riding that high. He's like,
emotions have been shared. Boundaries have been set. Order has been restored.
Right. This is the first day that they're not going to see each other. And
in 6 months.
Yeah. She's like, "You didn't yell?" He's like, I'll tell you everything over dinner."
Did you notice when she like applauds at first and he goes, "No, stop it. I'm the puppet. You're the master."
Oh, I didn't catch that. Good catch.
If only they knew. A song would be written a few years later that would save the world.
Yep. So he asks her out again. He makes sure that she knows that it's not a date.
Yep.
But they're supposed to meet at Enzo's at 7, right? But
Joyce, I've got to tell you, I've been there for the pasta. You're in for a treat.
We've been to Enzo's, which is
so
fun.
goddamn good.
But he gets a call from Powell, who is over at town hall, where there's some people protesting.
Yeah.
And Powell's like, "You better get yourself over here." And as he leaves the store, he trips over some magnets on the ground.
Does it bother you that he didn't pick them up?
Yeah, he just like looks at them.
He goes like, "Clean up in aisle 5," and he keeps walking.
Yeah, that's like such a man move.
It's such a man move. Oh.
Which they've been demagnetized. Joyce goes over to try to like put them back, and they're not working anymore. So she's on this magnet train.
What is wrong with my magnets?
Yeah.
I can't. I literally would have, the whole summer would have passed. I would have been like, "That's weird." We cut to Nancy. She is pouring coffee and she notices the diseased rat message that she wrote the night before. And she overflows the coffee. And that dick, Jake Busey, of course, is like, "Oh, careful, Nancy Drew. Pouring coffee is a hard job."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Girl."
The other guy's cracking up again.
Either that guy has a crush on him or he's smoking the doobies, because I'm sorry. Yet again, that wasn't that funny. But I love that she comes up with a brilliant plan. So she brings the coffee to Tom, which I love that he says, "Thank you, sweetheart." And she pulls what I think we have all pulled at least once or twice in our life. She asks, "Can one of the other girls get lunch?" And he's like, "They're needed at their desks." She's like, "I know, I gotta go to the doctor. I'm having girl problems." And like any man, he gets uncomfortable and chokes and just like nods. That's how I've gotten out of so many plans as a teenager. Like, I remember once I was supposed to go on a boat and I literally was like, "I'm having girl problems." No, I wasn't. I was just getting out of it. So literally, like, you can tell, like, he probably was like, yeah, do whatever you need. Go, go, go. And the amount of times Nancy has opened up the darkroom door, I don't think there's any salvageable, like, photos for the Hawken Post.
Poor Jonathan. He's like, the light, Nancy. And she's like, let's go. But Jonathan is unsure about this plan. He's like, what if the old lady is crazy? The story is going to blow up in our face. We could get fired. And Nancy just flippantly is like, well, we don't have to work at this shithole anymore.
Girl,
like,
the whole we
okay.
ask for forgiveness, not permission kind of state of mind, I've never been comfortable with.
Oh,
like,
I kind of sometimes like get that,
Yeah?
but like, yeah.
I'm the
It
Jonathan in the group.
depends.
You're the Nancy.
It
I'm like, I'm having a
depends.
panic attack. So where do
Yeah.
we go next?
Back to Starcourt Mall. This is
Mhm.
like what makes this episode like my favorite. So
Exactly.
it's all the vibes. We're just seeing like a little montage of everything going on at the mall. The
So many corn dogs.
escalators, corn dogs, Orange Julius, like. But Robin is like not feeling it.
No.
It's like all the happy like goings on at the mall, and then you cut to Robin's face, and she's just
She
like,
sums up a Monday morning like
Yeah.
perfectly.
"Have a nice day."
Have a nice day. Who
But
comes?
oh my gosh, one of my absolute favorite scenes in the show, absolutely.
Perfect.
Dustin shows up at Scoops Ahoy, and he's like, "Is he here?" And Robin's like, "Is who here?" And of course, Steve comes out of the back. Henderson. And then
He's
back. He's back. Dustin's like, "You got the job."
The
Steve
trumpet.
plays a little fake instrument. And then they do their like bro code, secret handshake, Star Wars lightsabers, like
Megan,
the whole deal.
I feel like we need to practice, and next time we see each other, we need
Yeah.
to try to do it without error.
yeah, we need to
that-
learn this. I was thinking
we
the
need
same
to
thing.
learn that. And also, somebody, I'll have to send you the video. Somebody once edited in lightsabers. So
That's
it's them doing the
awesome.
handshake. So I will have to send that to you. But yeah, you can tell that there is a lot of love between these two. They have bonded since season 2. And what does Steve fix Mr. Henderson next?
So he, I think, makes him a banana boat. That's what it looks
Yeah.
like to me. Maybe something fancier. I don't know.
USS
Butterscotch.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. But they talk and catch up a little bit over
Yeah.
Dustin eating the ice cream. And I love how Dustin's like, "You can just eat as much of this as you want." And he's
My thinking.
like, Steve is like, "Well, it's not really a good idea for me. I have to keep in shape for the ladies." And Robin's giving him shit like,
How's
"Yeah,
that working out for you?
how's
Yeah.
that going?"
Yeah, she
And-
seems cool. Ignore
Yeah.
her.
It's just classic. I love it so much.
Do you love how offended he gets when he finds out the others ditched him?
Yes.
Like,
well,
he's pissed.
Yeah, he's telling Steve about Susie, which
Yeah.
was really cute because the whole part where he's like, "Oh yeah, Susie thinks kissing is better without teeth."
The look of horror on Steve's face. He's like,
But he,
oh,
like-
that's romantic.
Yeah, he schools it. He's like, "Yeah."
Whew.
But yeah, then Dustin tells him that the others ditched him the day before, which
Not cool.
I mean, Dustin, we were saying last time, like, you're exaggerating a little bit. Like,
They
stuck
were with you
the
until
whole
dark.
day. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Jesus.
pretty late when they actually left. Like,
yeah.
but
Drama queen.
but like you said, Steve is very offended on his behalf. Like,
seriously?
and the whole thing where he has to repeat what he says like 3 times, and then like he whispers it the first 2 times, and then
Just
Steve's
speak
like,
louder.
What? And then he yells it, and everybody turns and looks at him. And Steve's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought you said."
And I love that he tells him, you know, we could be American heroes. You could get all the ladies and more. And
Yeah.
you know what? Steve likes more.
He likes more. So Dustin tells him that he intercepted a secret Russian communication, and he asks for help translating it.
Jesus Christ. To Steve, really? So we then cut to Max. She's trying to ride her skateboard when Elle shows up. And I really like that they decided to finally pair these two together, because we knew that there was tension between the two in season 2, because there was like jealousy from Elle and stuff. And she kind of was like, go away, girl. She was Mariah carrying her. She was like, I don't know you. And they probably never really like hung out one-on-one, because Mike's always around,
Yeah.
He's always got her arm. So I like that she doesn't have any female like relationships to go to talk to. She doesn't have a mother. She doesn't have a sister. It's only Hopper and Mike, really. So what she does is she goes to Max, and I like that it cuts to them in Max's bedroom, and clearly Elle has kind of like filled her in on the shit that Mike's pulling, because she's really confused. And right away, Max is bullshit for her. She's like, he's a piece of shit. Like, he's probably out playing Atari with Lucas. And right away, Elle's like, but friends don't lie. And she goes, yeah, but boyfriends do. Which I'm like, oh, so true.
Yeah.
And I like that right away. She almost is like, come on with me. And she's like, wait. And she goes, I'm going to prove to you that there's more to life than stupid boys.
Yeah.
This is one of, and I know we've talked about it, one of my favorite friendships, because clearly it was a long time coming, but it was something Elle needed. And I don't know, I was getting emotional watching it. I know, guys, big old nerd, but literally I was like, this poor girl has lost everything. She's lost her mother and stuff. She's never gotten a chance to be a normal teenage girl. And Max kind of like takes her under her wing. So this episode really, I think now it's making sense why it's one of my favorites. She needed that person to go to. She needed somebody her age, like that understood her. So I really, really love that.
Yeah, I love that too. I love this episode and their friendship that starts in this episode. And just, I think we've talked about before how in season 4, we don't get to see them together until like the very end. And I'm hoping that like it comes full circle in season 5 with the relationship that started in season 3 in this episode.
Exactly.
Because like you said, it's such a strong friendship and a bond that Elle needed in her life. And
yeah,
I love it as well. But I love how they cut back and forth between Elle, Max giving Elle advice, relationship advice, and then Lucas trying to give Mike this relationship advice and basically being like, well, you kind of fucked things up. Like,
yeah,
you should have come to me. Like, you're in deep shit. Like, you need to figure out some way to apologize, basically. And
I love that they leave
Yeah.
Will.
Poor Will. Guys, I'm still here.
Setting up the Dungeons and Dragons game. Clearly, they're not going to play. Like, guys, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Dicks.
Yeah. At the pool, we've got Heather in the lifeguard stand, and
No
she's
dunking.
yeah, whatever his name
No
is.
dunking.
But the ladies are like, ugh, nails on a chalkboard. Like, even her voice annoys me. I'm like, get over yourselves. But Karen is kind of looking around for Billy, and she goes and follows him.
Now, this is one thing they did cut out. You don't see it happen until Billy kind of has quick flashes in an episode further down the line. And you get kind of a sense of what he just did, because when she walks in, he's kind of in the supply closet where they keep the pool chemicals. He's putting down a jar. We later on see in a quick clip, he was drinking chlorine. Because we learn that all the people that are flayed, they're able to like almost get more powerful and stronger by drinking chemicals. And it's kind of sad because even if he had gotten unpossessed, he most likely would have died.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like I feel like they're drinking these chemicals, which is kind of like destroying their insides and making them into this goo. That's kind of how I
donut jelly.
Yeah, so that they eventually like explode and become part of the flesh monster. So gross.
What does Karen say to him?
But Karen says that it's not you. She says she's sorry for not coming. She says that it's not you, but I have a family and I can't do anything to hurt them. So he has this like moment where he like, you see him like turn around and kind of like grab her and smack her against the shelf, but like that was just in his head, and he didn't actually do that. He actually just says like, stay away from me, Karen.
Which you can tell like he's not like possessed currently, like the mind flayer isn't active. So he's dormant. So at least he used enough strength to almost be an asshole to her, which
Yeah.
worked. Stay away from me because he didn't want to hurt her.
Right. And then he's not having a good time. He tries to go
No.
get out on his lifeguard stand, but he's like not doing okay. He's like,
He's looking like me after a night of several espresso martinis.
yeah. But we go back to Scoops Ahoy, and who's
What
there?
a great transition that was. The blinding sun to the mint
Chocolate
chocolate
chip.
chip bin. I really liked that. And I like
Yeah.
that Erica and her squad, they're taking advantage of the free sample policy.
That they are.
And, right away, I'd like to try it again. And poor Robin, she is just swamped and overwhelmed. So she's yelling for Steve. And in the back, they're listening to the recording on the tape recorder. And Steve is just living his best life, having a banana. And
This banana, though, if
That
you
banana.
watch this scene, it is so
Yeah.
inconsistent. The continuity is so bad.
I
Like,
was going to say.
he's got like half a banana, and then he finishes the banana, and then it cuts back to him, and he's got half a banana again, and then he throws the banana peel on the table, and then you cut back to him, and he's holding it again. It is awful. Like,
Have
it
you ever
was
seen the picture
so
of him
bad.
sitting at the table with all the bananas that are half eaten? I'm like, boys, I think we could have done better.
Yeah, the editing, like the continuity, it's so bad. But like,
Yeah.
don't
Ooh.
don't focus on that when you watch
Just
this
don't look
scene.
at the banana, guys. That's all. Somebody once pointed it out to me, and that's all I can.
That's
like,
all I
fixate
see
on.
now. Yeah.
But he right away is like, that music sounds familiar. And Dustin kind of gets a little pissy. And he's like, Steve, we're trying to translate. We're not listening to the music, which that will become useful further
Mhm.
down the line.
Did you see
And-
also that the subtitles kept saying that it like kept saying the name of the song that was playing? Like
I didn't catch that. Are you
yeah, what
kidding
is
me?
it?
It's Bicycle Built for Two,
Daisy
right?
Bell. Daisy Bell.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Daisy, Daisy. Answer my
Yeah.
question 2. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. If you won't give marriage or something with the carriage, but you'd look sweet upon a seat with a bicycle built for 2. You're welcome, everyone.
Thank you for that. We've needed it.
Guys, sometimes I forget my own social security number, but I remember that. But we were laughing because the first episode, the subtitles give away the entire secret message.
Yeah.
So, thanks, guys. So right away, Robin comes in. She's pissed. And what goes on there?
Yeah, so she basically calls them out, and she's like, she wants Steve to go out in the front, and they're like, we're working on something secret or something, or she's basically like, I know
I can hear
everything.
you.
I can hear you. You're very loud. So
Yeah.
you are trying to translate this Russian code. Like, let me help. She's like, I speak 3 languages. I've been in band for 12 years. My
ears are little geniuses.
yeah, really good. So
Do you love when she does the pig Latin?
Yeah. Ooh-yay, array, day.
And right away, they're like, holy shit, thinking it's Russian. I love when she goes, that's pig Latin dingus. And I
Yes.
love that Steve goes, idiot, to Dustin. And hits him with the banana peel.
It's basically like you are dumb in Pig Latin, right?
I love that.
Do you know Pig Latin?
I don't, do you?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow.
You take the first letter off, say the rest of the word, then put the first letter at the end with the sound A with it. So like ooh-yay is you.
Absolutely not.
Day is dumb. You never learned Pig Latin as a kid?
Never. Girl, I was too busy, memorizing Bicycle Built for Two.
All
So
of
what do
our-
they decide on?
We're so smart.
We really are, man.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, she's like, let me help. I want to help. I'm so bored. So they switch. Like she gives Steve the scoop and he gives her
love
the
that.
tape recorder.
So Nancy and Jonathan go to Mrs. Driscoll's house, and they're posing as reporters. And I love that she's like, wow, you two look really young for reporters. And they're like, we get that all the time. I do love that she has the Felix the Cat clock.
Yeah,
Like,
that was cool.
that
I
is
wanted
sick.
to like look at everything in her house because there
It
was
was really cool.
There were like a lot of stuff on the walls and stuff.
Which,
that would
by
be a
the
cool
way-
set to like analyze.
When I went thrifting yesterday in New Hampshire, I saw a grandfather clock like Vecna's. It was only $15. Those things usually go for hundreds of dollars.
How did you not buy it?
I was so tempted, dude. You have no idea. I might go back, but part of me is like, I have enough shit in my house, but I was really tempted.
Yeah.
All right, so she brings them into the basement to show them the bags of fertilizer that has been eaten by the rats. And then she goes, oh, I forgot. So she takes them in the other room. And
Yeah, because they hear this rattling.
Yeah, she goes, I caught one of the little bastards, and it's a covered up cage, and it is fucking shaking, and it is giving some ungodly noises.
We are back at town hall, and the protesters are outside. They're protesting the mall, and I think they're chanting like "Klein is a swine."
Swine. That's, I love a good rhyme. I do.
Yeah. But Hopper's sitting there waiting, and we see Grigori walk by with his
I
motorcycle
love that shot.
helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, just the boom, 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 and him just glancing.
So Jim goes in to see Larry Klein, the mayor.
Which I
And
love that actor because he has been in from The Princess Bride, Kiss the Girls, Saw, Twister. So he's just such a great character actor, but he plays such a scumbucket. And what goes down in his office?
Yeah, so he basically, Hopper's like, I'm not going to shut them down. Like, I'm not going to get rid of your fan club. And Larry is basically asking him to make them leave because they don't have a permit. And because Hopper's kind of like, don't you think having me make them leave without any provocation is bad for your re-election campaign? And Larry's like, you know what's in 4 days? Hopper's like, Independence Day. And he's like, I'm going to put on the best party this town has ever seen, basically, for 4th of July. So
for the voters, because that's all they remember.
Exactly.
What an asshole. I know. Anybody that sticks a cigar in their mouth, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
They smell. But meanwhile, at the mall, the bus drops off 11 and Max. And she seems a little unsure and says, too many people against the rules. And I love that Max is like, you have superhero powers. What's the worst that can happen? And she brings him in, and that's when I kind of got emotional because you can just see they go into the center of the mall. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And here's this girl that has had very little exposure to, like, the public.
Yeah.
And right away, Max is like, so what do you want to do first? And you can tell she has no idea. And she's like, you've never been shopping before? So I don't know, be still my heart. So right away, Max says, we'll just try everything. And they race off to the Gap. And just then, the boys come in. And Lucas is trying to explain to Mike that he needs to find something shiny, pretty that says, I'm sorry. And of course, Mike is like, something that literally says, I'm sorry. He's like, no. But in the Gap, 11 is overwhelmed. She's looking at everything. And she looks at a display, and Max kind of asks, like, do you like that? And she's like, how do I know? And Max kind of goes, well, you just need to try things on until you find something that feels like you. Not Mike, not Hopper. And I don't know, like, I kind of like it because she helps 11, who, as if you watch, she's in like really baggy, like plain clothes that probably are boy clothes and stuff because Hopper doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And it's just, she kind of helps 11 have her own independence. Like, this day is very important to her. So I was getting choked up.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's such a cute scene. And I love the whole time that they're at the mall. So we cut over to Melvald's, and Joyce has obviously taken a trip to the library.
Damn.
And she's reading about magnets and like electromagnetic fields and stuff like that. And she's very overwhelmed by her research, you can tell. So she decides to take a little field trip. And she drives. I guess she closes the store. There's nobody there anyway.
Everybody is leaving businesses. Like, what the fuck?
She drives over to this house, and you hear some Weird Al playing from the garage.
I feel like this will be us once the school year wraps up.
Yeah. And so it's Mr. Clark's house, which is the science
best
teacher.
life. Yep.
And he's in his garage. He's painting miniatures, which is very nerdy. Um,
That will definitely be me.
But she's like ringing the doorbell, knocking on the door, and she's like about to walk away, and the garage starts to open up, and it's just like Mr. Clark standing there. It's fantastic, and he's like,
I
Joyce
cannot.
Byers.
Cannot love Mr. Clark.
Yeah,
but we
another
go-
great transition with like
Yes.
the beat of the song, and then like Jonathan snapping the camera.
So good. I'm so glad you picked up on that. That was
Yeah.
so good. So Jonathan is taking photos of the rat that is jumping the hell around, and he clearly can't get a good photo. And I love that he's like, stand still, you little shit. And it goes up to Nancy, and she's calling local businesses, posing yet again as a reporter, to see if they've had any problems with the rats. And I love that, like, Mrs. Driscoll is like, I like the company, and brings her some fresh squeezed lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, as Jonathan's still struggling to take a photo of this rat, and the rat's now like kibbying, like it's on its side, not doing well at all,
Yeah.
kind of having a seizure. Nancy comes down and says that she found a lead, and I love that Jonathan's like, something's really wrong with this rat. And Nancy goes, yeah,
No shit.
exactly. So they kind of rush up the stairs just in time to miss
The rat.
literally turning into, we're going to call it donut jelly,
Yeah.
turns into donut jelly, and the donut icky inside bloodiness, it just like slowly seeps out of the cage and it starts moving on its own.
Yeah.
Gross.
Was that movie called Flubber back in the day?
Remember Flubber with Robin Williams?
All I could think about was Flubber. With
That was
this.
it was if his Flubber and the Blob had a baby.
Yeah.
That's that shit that was moving.
Yeah.
Yep.
it was So
Good call.
gross.
Good reference.
We're back at the pool, but we don't really realize we're back at the pool. But Billy is having some more flashbacks to the night before.
Mhm.
And the other version
Double?
of him, yeah, you hear him saying like, I want you to build what you see. So the army of people, I guess, is what he was referring to. But Billy's like, I don't know what you mean. Just a very obscure reference. I have not finished the book, but I know that in season 4, Lucas is reading to Max in the hospital at the end, and he's reading
Talisman.
the Talisman. Yeah.
Talisman.
So in the Talisman, there's these things called twinners, and it's like a mirror version of you in an alternate dimension. So I
Ooh.
know this is like the closest thing we get to like Billy seeing like another version of himself, which we could also think maybe it's just like a vision that Vecna is making him see, but like why is he seeing
another
himself?
version of me?
I know.
Couldn't help it. Sorry.
But yeah, maybe I should like edit this scene to that song.
So good. Oh my god, do it.
But you see that he's like burning in the sun.
His
like
arm that was exposed to the sun, like there's a
Yeah.
burn mark.
so he has to get down. He goes in, he's like not doing okay. Even
No.
worse now. He goes into the shower. His veins are getting all like black and stuff. It's very gross. And then Heather comes in and he has a vision that she's saying, take me to him.
Yep.
She's not really saying that, but then you see him kind of like attack her.
And I love that, like her scream, and then it
Yeah.
cuts to Madonna's Material Girl,
Yeah.
and we get
the
quite the
best
montage.
the best mall montage to ever exist.
What do they do in this montage, Megan?
Well, they try on clothes, which I loved the suspenders and the beret. That was a great look.
That's such a good look.
We're cutting back and forth between Elle and Max, and then the boys also shopping in this montage, which is great.
Hilarious.
But some other things that the girls do are go get glamour shots done, which
And what great glamour shots they are.
amazing. And I love the photographer. Like
Wardrobe change.
Wardrobe change. But they also go try on shoes and they
Yep.
try to walk in heels.
And
which
you know what?
is-
That little bitch Stacy
I
gave them
know.
stink eye. So what do they do to Stacy?
So she's downstairs later at the food court with her Orange Julius and hanging out with her friends. And Elle makes the Orange Julius explode, which is
love it.
great.
I love a petty queen.
I love the romper. Obviously, the Elle bought. It's my favorite outfit from the show. I
You
own a
own that, right?
replica of a
Yep.
costume of it. Yeah. Also, where did Elle get money for all of this?
Everybody always says that because I'm like, she ended up getting like several outfits. I would like to believe that maybe Max used her allowance and treated her.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Hopper had given her some money. Maybe she used her superhero powers to obtain some money.
Yeah.
Who
I don't
knows?
know. Who knows?
I think she bought Max some sunglasses too.
She did those red sunglasses,
Yeah,
which she
they
was
were cute.
rocking. Yeah.
But the boys, they go
Oh,
into
God.
a jewelry shop and there's like a little gold teddy bear charm.
Mhm.
And this just cracked me up because in the last episode I was like, Mike, like, where are your fucking manners? Like, why are you talking to Hopper that way? And I love him like to the shop owner, like, excuse me, sir. Like he's
Excuse
a
me,
sweet
sir.
little boy.
Yeah.
How much for this little gold bear? And then they come out of the store and they're like, $300. I
I'm
should
gonna
have
shove
shoved
that
that
right
up
up
his. And
Yep.
then they cut. I loved that. And then they run away from Victoria's Secret.
It
Like,
was too overwhelming. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it.
and they're also, I did not remember the part where they're like looking at perfumes and Mike
That was
sprays
hilarious.
Mike sprays Lucas in the face. Or no, Lucas sprays
Lucas
Mike in the
sprays
face.
Mike.
Yeah. So best part of the episode.
And I just
think.
love that Max, yet again, reminds her there's more to life than stupid boys. You go, queen.
Yeah, and poor Will. Can we
Poor
please play D&D now?
This poor son of a bitch. Like, it's bad. But while this is going on, Dustin and Robin, they are still translating, and they're actually doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And Robin's able to figure out the first sentence, which is, and she tells Steve when she goes, we got our first sentence. And he goes, yeah, seriously? And she goes, yeah, the week is long. And he goes, well, that's thrilling. And she's like, yeah, but progress. And then he hands 2 ice cream cones to Max and Elle, which I don't know. When he says with extra whipped cream and sprinkles, it didn't fucking look like it. That was a
It was
poor-
like the ice cream was in the bigger waffle cone, so you couldn't see
you couldn't see
like
shit.
the whipped cream that was in it.
Because there was
but-
a strawberry and then there was a vanilla with extra whipped cream and sprinkles. I don't know. Steve,
Yeah.
don't quit your day job. But right away he goes, wait a second. Forever the babysitter.
Yeah.
He goes, are you even supposed to be here?
right.
They giggle and run off, and I love his reaction. He's just like, okay.
yeah.
What happens outside?
So I love as they're walking out of the doors, they like trade ice creams. I thought that was really cute.
True friendship.
So then Elle gets the strawberry, but they run into the boys right outside
Yup.
the doors. And Mike is just like he's not apologizing.
No.
He's just digging himself into a deeper hole. And you can tell Lucas at first is like, why are you continuing to lie? But he kind of tries to cover for him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I was shopping for a gift for Nana because she's sick, like just digging himself even deeper. So I love Elle. Like she's like, you're lying, boyfriends lie, I dump your ass.
And Max's reaction is my reaction to most drama. Just like, holy shit. And I
And
love that.
Cold as ice starts
Oh,
playing.
Such a good music, like,
Yeah.
cue. And I love that they get on the bus and they kind of like laugh over it. And
And they
love that
high five.
They high five. And that is
Yeah.
Max's ultimate light moment in season 4. So I do
Yeah.
love that. And
So
of
sweet.
course, Mike is floored because he just got dumped. And I love that. Yet again, poor Will. Can we play D&D now? Like,
And did you notice there's a truck in the background with the
Mhm.
boys, and it's like the Lynx like truck. And
Yep.
yeah, that was the silver cat, you know. So back at town hall, Hopper is rounding up the last of the protesters.
Raise my property taxes, Jim. Force me off
And-
my land.
This is the only time I think that we see Flo in this season.
It was a nice little cameo, though. I liked it because
Yeah.
she went on an errand for Hopper. Where did she go?
I think she went to the mall to get him a shirt.
J.C. Penney's.
Yep.
She got him a Magnum PI shirt.
And he's like, is this the one? And he's like, yeah. And I love
Powell.
what Powell's like, that's a lot of color for you, Chief. And what does
cutting
Hopper
edge.
say? It's cutting edge.
And I
stuff.
love that he says it again as he's walking
Yeah.
down the sidewalk. He goes, it's cutting edge. And Hopper ends up in that wonderful shirt with an overcoat. And he's at Enzo's. And once you've actually gone there in person, it's so funny to like just look at it because they crammed a lot of tables into it.
Yeah.
But it's a mood, and
there's a string quartet playing.
I know, damn.
Yeah. That was not playing when we were there.
It was not. No, as I'm, thinking I got trapped in the bathroom. But he orders a double scotch. Ew.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever tried scotch. Wood polish. Gross. And then he orders a nice Chianti.
What does he call
Chianti.
it? Chianti.
Yeah. And it's got hints of cherries because women love cherries.
Yeah.
And I just love that the waiter's like, very good, sir. And he's waiting, he's nervously, lighting up a cigarette and he's waiting for Joyce, which I'm like, Joyce, you really fucked up. Like, that was some good food.
Yeah. I hope that in season 5 we get our Enzo's date.
So where's Joyce when she's supposed to be at Enzo's?
Doing science experiments with Scott Clark.
Did you clock the mini Beetlejuice headstone that they put in there?
It's
in
funny.
the miniature set, and I think it's a little Easter egg for everybody, so it's pretty cool.
There you go.
So what are they doing?
So he's kind of trying to explain to her the whole magnet thing, and they have built this like model of it, and like they make their own electromagnetic field, and he's like, Joyce is basically like, well, what's happening here? And he's kind of telling her like, it's probably just a coincidence. Like, you're just noticing patterns because you like that aren't actually there. And she's like, but what if I'm not? What if this is actually real? And he's like,
apophenia.
Well, it would take, apophenia. That's what the whole noticing patterns that aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, if it was real, it would have had to be a lot of electricity, some sort of machine, and it would have cost millions of dollars. And he's like, but I mean, anything is possible. So.
Ooh. And he's like, once you open that curiosity door, I'd be like, you're giving me fucking anxiety, dude. Like,
exactly.
I love that they just built that too. Like, if somebody just asked me a question, I'd be like, I don't know. Instead, he's like, we're going to do we're going to do a whole science experiment. We are going to do a Clark Byers, electromagnetic field. I'm like, how long did this take?
Afternoon into the
all
evening.
Afternoon. You missed, Enzo's. He's really brilliant.
The next scene is like another one of my favorites.
This is so good because it shows after hours at the mall. Things have closed and they're like closing down the gate of Scoops. And kind of like you see like they finally translated it. And the message is, the week is long. The silver cat feeds when blue meets yellow in the west. So as Steve's like closing the gate of Scoops and they're walking out, he's like, it's nonsense. Like, it doesn't make sense. I think we're wrong. And right away, they're, Dustin and Robin are like, no, I think it's a code. This could be a person. It could be a weapon. And I love that Steve is like making faces, kind of mocking them. Mm-hmm. And as they're walking out, Robin goes, it's going to take a super genius to figure out what it means. And they notice that Steve has lagged behind. And he's looking at the little, like, Indiana Flyer horse ride that I'm sure we have all ridden once. They're usually outside of supermarkets. And he right away is yelling for a quarter. And I love that she's like, I don't think, you're big enough to ride that, little Stevie. And he puts it in and he, crouches down. And I love that he tells them to shut up. And you start hearing the Daisy song playing. And they're right away, like, Dustin's like, holy shit, like, Steve was right. That's the same music that's faintly playing in the background of the Russian message. And at first they're like, oh, it could be a coincidence. And he's like, no, these are only like made here. This message came from the mall. Steve Harrington, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah. He was He got it for this time.
He got good for you,
Yeah.
Steve.
But back at Enzo's,
Ooh.
first of all, Hopper's had a little bit too much to drink, I think. He is calling the waiter
Enzo, my name is not Enzo, and he's eating the breadsticks.
He's
so
eating
disgusted.
the bread. He takes the bottle of wine, and they're like,
Did you
can't
get
take
this
it off the
Jaws
premises."
reference?
I think you've mentioned it before.
I can do anything. I'm the chief of police. And who does he
Yeah.
bump into on his
He
way out?
bumps into Grigori again. This is like the third time we've seen him in this
Which
episode.
I love that he just was at the bar at Enzo's drinking.
Yeah, just having a drink, you know.
Yeah, good for him. You
But
know?
was he watching Hopper? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So we have our final scene here, which again, we circle back to the beginning.
Yep.
We'll circle because we're back at the warehouse and Billy gets Heather out of the trunk of his car.
Yikes.
Some serial killer shit here.
Yep.
And takes her down to the basement. And we have the whole, it'll be over soon, just stay very still, which is another Vecna-like
Yep.
line. And then this monster emerges from the shadows.
And the look on Billy's face, he looks like he's frozen, but he does not look like, it's almost like the real Billy is trapped inside and he's like horrified and disgusted that he's seeing this, but he's possessed, he's afraid, so he can't do anything about it. So the
Yeah.
last thing we hear are Heather's screams. Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great episode, by the way. Great.
So good.
Fire.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to Megan, everyone.
Loved this episode. So I'm glad we talked about it. And
Mhm.
yeah, we'll just be continuing our deep dive over the next few months. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right. Do we have any production updates? I guess we'll basically say that we're going to continue not talking about spoilers and leaks because
And unfortunately, there were ones that did leak. And we're just the kind of people we want to go into this, blind.
I want
these
to
people,
experience it the way
it was
it's meant to be experienced. Yeah.
And, there's some things Stacey clearly guessed right, brag. But we're against spoilers. We think it's kind of messed up. Do not share them. Do not, talk about them because it's kind of like the cast and crew and the Duffers put so much work into this. That's just kind of a slap in the face. We will say it over and over again. We do not discuss spoilers. Things are getting leaked, but you know what? We are patiently waiting when the teaser or the trailer drops. Hopefully it will be sometime soon. But guys, just take into consideration, don't share that stuff. It's messed up.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't think we've gotten anything official.
No, I don't think so.
And cast-wise, we obviously mentioned Joe Keery already at the beginning. You can continue to tune into our bonus episodes about his music and tour and new album. So that's super fun. Anything else going on with any of the cast?
I know Sadie's trailer for her new movie dropped.
Yeah, it's not a movie, it's her play.
No, she's got a movie coming out soon.
Oh, she has a movie too?
Like Odessa or something?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Did we get a trailer for that?
Yeah, the trailer dropped.
Oh, I don't think I've seen the trailer yet.
Yeah, it
Okay, I'll have to watch
it
that.
looks promising. Definitely check
I
it
saw
out.
I remember seeing the poster, but I didn't know that the trailer came out. That looks
And
cool.
a very happy birthday to Millie Bobby Brown, who turned
it was
21
her
recently.
birthday. Yeah. Yep. Share helicopter.
Hashtag chopper life. Okay, so let's discuss merch.
All right, merch.
Big shout out to Hawkins Reporter. They were telling me about how they recently ordered a Stylin boxes, which is the mystery boxes. And this particular one is Stranger Things themed. I messaged him because I saw Cinco sharing the same thing, Cinco things. And I was like, is it worth it? Like, like, because they weren't saying what was in it because they want to keep the mystery alive.
Yeah.
And he swore by it, and he's somebody that definitely, I take his word for it. He was like, nope, it's definitely worth it. So I ordered the mystery box. Perhaps I will open it with us. We'll, film me opening it, and we'll go through it. So that's probably on the way.
Because that went so well last time.
That went amazing. So,
When
you know what?
When you did that review.
That was...
If you didn't know, the video version of Stacey doing the review of the sparkling drink from the UK is on our Patreon if you ever want to check it out.
Yeah, that was an after-school special. That was a lesson. We'll just leave it at that. What not to do before a video. So we got that. Oh my God, that was such a fucking shit show. Never again. So I just received, and I'll have to take a picture of it to send to you, from the lovely Leviathan, 2 steady photos. They're from a fic called Money, Power, Glory. I just recently framed them up. I got the Urban Outfitters Joe record, which is the green and orange mixed in. And as of right now, I think I own them all. So collection completed until his new album comes, and I have to get every variant. And I am rocking a Hannah Sarah shirt. She made a very cute Joe Basic Being Basic tour shirt. So I'm rocking that. So shout out to her. But no, right now we're just kind of like waiting. I was discussing this not too long ago. I was like, kind of waiting for season 5 because I know that's going to be the final season. There's going to be 10 million pops I'm going to want to get. So just patiently waiting for when stuff starts getting revealed. But I cannot wait. I literally cannot wait.
Season 5 merch is going to be fun for sure. I have that same shirt coming from Hannah Sarah, but in yellow.
Ooh.
And, oh no, I did. Well, it's not merch, but I ordered some boots, for like the tour.
Oh,
and
girl.
Guess what brand they are?
What brand?
Do you remember my sneakers from the con?
You were my goddamn hero. I gotta
I'm
tell
so
you,
excited for my Dr. Scholl's boots.
you are going to be rocking it. I'm telling you, I'm going for comfort because even though like literally that was technically your first con, I've gone to like 25 billion cons. I was wearing shoes that were killing my feet, and you're like, I feel great. I feel like I'm walking on clouds.
Yeah, and they're really cute boots. They're like heeled black like boots. I have to show you a picture, but like they're Dr. Scholl's brand. So I'm like, hopefully I'll have the same experience as the con and just be like as comfortable as anything.
Might have to send me the link because I might have to, rock the same because as much as I love my Crocs with my little giblets on them, time and a place, man. Time and a place.
Yeah. I'm trying to like shop for some fun outfits for the tour. So we'll see if I pull it off or not.
We're gonna look great. Okay.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today.
All right.
We will be back with you again next week. So definitely come check us out on Patreon to support our show and access bonus content. Patreon.com/SkullRockBroadcast. And come hang out with us on social media. We are most active on Instagram, and that's at Skull Rock Broadcast as well. I'm at Steady Stories. Stacey is at Stay Still Reviews. And until then, over and out.
Over and out.
Eddie, I'm not sure if I love the idea of you driving.
Oh, I'm starting to suffer. Harrington's got her. That's your big boy.
All right, we are back. We never really left, but we're back.
Forever and always.
And this is our secret segment. So
yes,
this is where we talk about fan fiction. So for some reason you're just tuning in and you did not realize that, and you're not into fan fiction, then turn us off.
Yep.
No big deal. But if you want to hang out, we're going to just chat a little bit about what we've been reading this week. So I expect to have some fics to hear about, Miss February Break.
I know. I have been busy, but
I know, it's okay.
I was able. I'm trying to, there's 2 fics trying to get back into especially the one about Eddie being the masseuse. Because
Oh yeah.
like,
I need to go back to that one too.
I need to go back
Great.
to it, but I
Yeah.
did do 2 one-shots. One was from Steady Hyperfixation. It was a one-shot. It was just about Steve kind of realizing that he's into nerds, that, Nancy was kind of a nerd, Robin was a kind of a nerd, and Dustin and Robin are kind of like telling him about this, and then Eddie walks into Family Video, and it's him trying to get the courage to ask him out. But it's kind of funny when, both Robin and him realize that at the same time. But I did read another cute one shot. It was called Keep On Dancing from Mug Lovers. And it's about how Eddie is going to be in a drag show, and he invites Robin and Steve. And it's funny, his stage name is Cass, which I thought was super cute.
Mm-hmm.
And he dances to Pink Pony Club, which, come on, we all love that. And it was so good and so cute.
This was a modern AU, I guess.
It was modern, yeah. And right
Yeah.
away, Robin's like, is it bad that I'm, like, attracted to him because he's all dolled up? And right away, Steve is like, holy shit, and he brought all singles and he doesn't know what to do. But it was really cute. But my big thing is I actually got the approval from This Apple Pie Life to Take the Money and Run turned into a book from a friend of ours, Steady 1986, who does bookbinding. So I'm going to get the book that kind of you recommended that made us become friends and started this whole thing into an actual physical book. And I am so goddamn excited. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Right?
I didn't read a
What about you?
ton this week either, but I did finish last night. Actually, I stayed up way too late finishing it. The Chicago Lawyers AU that
Oh,
Onion
yeah. How was
Chiver
that?
dropped. So good. I felt like I was watching a movie. Like,
Ooh.
it was amazing. And modern AU, lots of cocaine.
Okay. Yep.
So, but like, just like, and then Billy is in it, Jason is in it, like Tommy and Nancy are in it. Like, there's Dustin is technically in it, but just a really small, like, little.
Send me the
little
link
blip,
because I'm
but-
getting very intrigued right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 2 chapters. The first chapter is a little bit shorter, and then the second chapter is pretty long, and it gets like into the trial and everything like that because they're lawyers on opposing sides of this case. So
Yeah.
it's so much drama, but like amazing, really good payoff at the end, and like definitely one of my favorite by them, I think, and so
I
hot,
like that.
obviously, because I mean, when is Onion Chiver not the hottest thing you've ever read?
I have to actually read the newest chapter of Prism. I got my
Yeah.
Kindle and everything. But as you know, you got to be in the right state of mind. You got to
Yeah,
dedicate
yeah.
that time to get into it, you know?
Yeah. So I know I was kind of like, maybe I'm like feeling better, like I can get back into Prism now because I was like in this fic, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what I decide to read next. Definitely a mood reader for sure. So,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for me. A little short
Nice.
today,
A
but
little short, but you know what? We'll find something. Don't you worry.
yeah, I'm sure we'll be back next time with more things to talk about and more great fic recs for everyone. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, until then, catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.
Peace.